All right, it is 9:47 a.m. and I had one trade with CLNV. This one did not work out, and yeah, really upset that the past 2 days there were plenty of nice setups and I wasn't really able to participate. Ideally, I don't fall in a situation where now that I'm ready to trade in everything and I have really good sleep and I've started to work on a few things. Um, now the setups are not really working, but I'm gonna keep watching CLNV. Clearly, this trend line that I drew here is very important for it. At 9:43, I did buy 6,000 shares at 5 cents, and I was interested in it because I like how we were downtrending and everything. And then it got to the point where it went below this downtrending trend line, which made it extremely bearish, but also maybe a bit exaggerative. So I was thinking it could try to bounce somewhere. And I like how it broke under 5 cents briefly right here and it went as low as this 491 level. And then I got in it in this candle once it was trying to buy itself back up, and it was looking nice. And I got in at 5 for that reason, for a quick panic where it breaks under the round number of 5 cents. Wipes out a bunch of people, lots of volume gets executed, and then it tries to immediately get back above the 5 cent level and uptrend some more, break this trend line right here, and then maybe try to make a move towards VWAP. That was my goal with that, and it didn't work out. I saw some really bad level 2 price action when it was looking like it was trying to turn around and everything, and it closed up here. The next candle was pretty bad. A lot of sellers were at the ask with a large amount of size, so I did cut the trade. I got out the next minute, 9:44 at 496. And yeah, that wasn't me risking the day low breaking. That was just a judgment call because it could have maybe have turned around and continued, but the level 2 price action was so bad that it really gave me vibes that it was going to break the day low. So I did get out and it did break the day low, which is good that, I just followed my plan and everything. And it broke under it. Now I want to see it. Maybe it looks like it's going to try to break above it. I'm going to be a bit cautious with it because it might just try to break slightly above it and then eventually continue to sell off and get back under it. So I will take that into consideration, but I'll be watching it at this point for that. Hey, it is 10:18 and I had a trade with GTII and I held on to this one a little bit. It wasn't working immediately the way I wanted it to, but I did give it a bit of a chance. But once it was trading all sketchy for a really long period of time and it was looking like it was going to break below the 119 level right here, I did cut the trade. I bought this one at 10:07, 200 shares at 19.5. So 10:07 at 19.5, I was in right around here. Why? Because the price action was looking very good. It was following this trend line. It was breaking past this downtrending trend line, and the goal was it to get to VWAP, break above it, and uptrend some more. And then that could be something super profitable. It did in the same candle that I bought get as high as 122. And then we did have this uptrending candle here, but somebody has a lot of shares to sell and immediately around 30,000 shares was just dumped right here. And then it made a price action look super sketchy and it was just trading back and forth, not really doing very much. Just these little, like, I don't know, squirts of just red prints, just, getting hit at the bit. So I didn't like any of it. And I was thinking, this could be the thing where we do break past the downtrending trend line, this one right here. It uptrends a little bit, then it fails, and maybe you'll make a higher low setup. So I'm actually interested in seeing what it's going to be doing at this point. And I did cut the trade at 19, just a $1 loss, 200 shares at 10.16. Right here, when it was just looking mega sketchy and it was looking like it was again going to break that 119 level. I got out and yeah, it's been selling off. I'm gonna keep watching this. This could be an inverse head and shoulders too. Shoulder, head, and then maybe a shoulder somewhere. It looks really interesting right now. I'll make an update later. Alright, it is 10:26 p.m. and I'm here to call it off. Overall, I'm going to be down on the day $8 and 14 cents the first day of December, and it was just unlucky because all three of the setups I took just didn't work out, and I think there was something I could have done a little better with this last trade that I haven't went over yet. Just unlucky that these two didn't work out. The first two, CLNV, again trying that setup where in theory it was going to play around that 5 penny level, and it just didn't do it right here. And it did eventually turn around and it made a move towards VWAP. I just don't like how it did it because there wasn't like any strong support at the bid. It was just people buying it up. And I've traded stocks like that, like CRTD, where the bid looks weak, but the people are just hitting the ask and it makes an uptrend, I might have to consider trading that if it does something like this, maybe in a different situation or another stock, just like it was here with CLNV. So it did ultimately get to VWAP. It did actually do like a quick dip, like a higher low setup off of the bottom, which could have been nice, but then we had this big green candle, so not too bad. In theory, I could have traded it with maybe more experience, just seeing this pattern play out a lot where, again, the bid just looks weak, but people are just hitting the ask. And it brought it from the 48 level to 52, which is about 10%. It broke above VWAP, which was nice. And then, of course, because it wasn't really the most justified way the uptrend. It did sell off and got much lower, and there wasn't really anything else with that one. And then as for GTII, it just didn't work out that VWAP breakout setup, and I cut it quickly. But I did try one more time, and I think the last recording I was going over it a bit. It looks like an inverse head and shoulder setup, the shoulder, the head, and then I thought it was going to make the shoulder at this point. And the issue was is that I thought it was going to just like CLNV hard-headedly uptrended and got to VWAP without any significant support at the bid. I thought GTII was going to do something like that, and it's done stuff like that before, making the inverse head and shoulders. I was thinking that it was going to, I think around this point, because I did buy at 1023 at 117, so 1023, this is 1027, 6, 5, 4, 3. Right here is when I entered, thinking that it was going to, do that move towards VWAP. And I think what I could do differently and, you know, in this situation is that I thought it was going to hard-headedly get to VWAP. So when it wasn't just aggressively, stubbornly hitting the ask and uptrending like I thought it was going to do, maybe I could have just cut the trade much sooner. I did eventually cut it. This candle right here when it was looking like it was going to break below this little bottom it had right here. And I did get out of it. There was some slippage. I wanted to get out at like 116 or 115, but that's totally fine. And yeah, it just sucks. The setups I took didn't work out. It's just bad luck in that sense. And I was actually looking at it for one more uptrend, and I didn't trade it, and that's the one that worked out. It broke this overall downtrending trend line right here, as you can see, very aggressively, and then it kind of came back, and then downtrending, now being a higher low off of here. I thought maybe it could try to uptrend, and it did. It went from the $1.07 level as high as the 120. So of course the one I didn't take worked out. Really unlucky day. The chance that a really unlucky day, the way I look at it, happens again is pretty low. So I'll just be thankful for that. That I'm going to be less lucky on the next trades, and hopefully those can work out. Otherwise, that's it. Just really crappy. None of the setups that I tried worked. Too bad. So sad. That's all I have for today.